Hey guys, Matthew here. So today will be the fourth installment of the How to Act series, and we will be going over, well, Act 4. So in Act 4, you'll be starting in the Blood Aqueduct, in the Aqueduct. I don't know why I said Blood Aqueduct. That's way later. You'll be starting in the Aqueduct. For the most part, this is a very simple layout. You'll just want to kind of just follow along one side or the other, and when you hit dead ends, just move on to the next side and, do that until you reach the end. It's a very simple layout. That being said, it is pretty nice to note that this layout actually, in every single time you encounter a dead end on either sides, that actually goes to like an offshoot, if you want to call it that. You'll encounter a magic pack of monsters, which can be pretty useful, especially early if you're struggling on experience when you get to Act 4 after completing Act 3. Maybe you want to farm a couple Aqueduct runs. Typically, it's not going to be required so long as you're keeping yourself in the required levels. But if you do fall behind on XP, the Aqueduct is a pretty decent place to farm, especially given the fact that the monsters in here have a chance to drop the Tabula card, Humility. Uh, 9 of those will give you a Tabula, and they're also worth pretty penny early in the league. You can sell them for like 2 to 2.5 chaos, which may not seem like a lot, but that can be the difference between your build working and your build not working because you're lacking a unique or something in the first day of a league. So definitely something to consider. But like I said, most of the times it won't be required. So I'll go ahead and reset this zone. So for the most part, Dry Lake is pretty simple. You'll pretty much want to head over to the end of the map and then make a turn left, bottom left, which means around like here-ish, and Vol will be here. If he's not in this corner around here, he'll be like around here-ish. Not really here. It'll be more like down here, but in this layout, it doesn't let you go down that much. So expect him to be in like basically these two areas. I don't really encounter him anywhere else. So it's pretty simple, but Dry Lake is another place you can consider farming given the fact that it's pretty damn good XP. After taking care of Vol though, or before, depending what level you are, if you're sitting at around level 28 on a ranger character, say a toxic rain character, you should consider going ahead and doing your normal lab at this point. If, for example, though, you are playing a Stormbrand Elementalist or something like that, I'd recommend waiting till level 31 where you get your next gem level because you'll do a lot more damage and lab will be quite a bit easier at that point. Um, when it comes to running lab, I recommend going on PoeLab.com, which I will link in the description. It's basically a website where you'll see the layout of every single lab every single day. So normal, cruel, merciless, and uber lab. Even if the names may have changed, that's what they used to be called anyways. So every day the layouts change in these labs, and by going on PoeLab.com you can have all the updates for that, and also know what are the better routes to take. For example, if you're trying to get the most possible dark shrines or lab keys to do like the side quests, like say Argus or whatever it is, to maximize the rewards you get from doing your lab. It's pretty nice because when it comes to normal lab, it is a level 33 zone. So the drops you get at the end in the chests can actually be pretty nice upgrades, which sometimes can last you all the way until the end of the campaign. So it's definitely something to consider, going for as many keys as possible, but make sure you're not making it too hard by, say, leaving the essences alive or whatever it is that your build cannot handle. So we'll go ahead and reset this zone as well. The mines is a pretty simple layout, I want to say. For the most part, I'll just follow along the road and or the path, and whenever it cuts one side or another, uh, I'll just follow along that path until I reach the end. So I'll run it, and then I'll let you know basically how I go about it. So as you can see here, I hit a dead end, but for the most part, it's actually pretty linear for this layout. For the most part, these little cart trails on the ground, you just follow those and they'll lead you to the mines level 2 very easily. There's no real dead ends. There's some little ones, like you saw this one here. There's probably one like right here or something, but the mines level 1 is pretty linear. If the exit isn't here, it would be like around here-ish. Like the map, instead of doing like this kind of, I'm not too sure what the shape is, but instead of doing this shape, it would do something like this instead, and the exit would be around here. But like I said, just follow the cart traces on the ground like these things, and they'll lead you to mines level 2. The mine level 2 is a little bit more of a labyrinth, but it because you actually have to find the spirit if you want to get that passive skill point. But it kind of follows the same rule to some extent. Like there are more dead ends though, as you saw right there. This would be the quest area. So after finding the quest area, you just want to go straight to the next zone, which would be right around here. So this, like I said, Mines level 2 is a little bit more troublesome, if you want to call it that. But it kind of follows the same rule in the sense that you just follow on the path until the end. And the quest for the extra skill point, which is Deshre or whatever you want to pronounce that, is either going to be like along the path, but sometimes it's actually going to be kind of totally on the opposite side. So if you actually happen to run into a layout where the quest would actually be not on the main path, what you can do is simply drop a portal. Well, I don't have any. Simply drop a portal here in front of the crystal veins and then move on to the crystal veins. And whenever we find the waypoint in the crystal veins, which we'll try to do pretty quickly here. I'm not too familiar with the crystal veins, to be honest. I know there's a ton of dead ends in here. Alright, there you go. That wasn't too hard. After finding the waypoint in the crystal veins, we can head back to the high gates and take our portal, which will be sitting right there, back to the mines level 2, complete the mission for the extra skill point, and then log out. Then we can go back to the crystal veins. The crystal veins layout, I went ahead and I ran it like in one go here, but I could have actually went into many dead ends. But for the most part, it kind of follows the same rule in the sense that it's pretty linear. You'll want to follow along like the cart lines on the ground, as you can see. They're not everywhere though in the crystal veins. But for the most part, even if you hit like a dead end here, like a dead end here, like a dead end here, they're not going to go that far. They don't extend super, super deep into the map. So even if you hit a dead end, it's not that big of a deal. But for the most part, don't take too many turns unless required to. So for example, here I saw that there was like 3 ways to go, right? But I know it's not going to be over here because when I got into the layout, I saw this little piece of layout here, which means there's this layout here is going to go all the way here, but chances are it's not going to keep going up. Then I saw this here, but the way this room was shaped didn't it made me feel like it wasn't going to be that way, especially given the fact that I saw the like cart lines on the ground here. That kind of told me like, hey, it's this way, come here instead. Um, so this comes kind of like with practice. I'm not sure how else I could explain it. But as you can see, practice, like, it helps a lot. I literally went ahead and just finished it in one go. No real problem there. But as you can see, even if they're quite faint, there are little lines on the ground for the carts, because you are in a mine. And just follow along those. And whenever there's like a break in the path, just follow it along. If you hit a dead end, you'll hit a dead end. It's not the end of the world. It's not that big of a layout. You won't be, wasting too much time. So, enough rambling about that. Once you actually reach the crystal veins and you've got your skill point from the mines level 2, how do you actually run Duresso's and Kaom's dream? I would 100% recommend you start with Duresso's. Cold resistance here is pretty good. I'll go ahead and run this. For the most part, it's a pretty linear layout. Oh, this is kind of annoying. Do I even have any skills? No, I don't. Okay, well, let's just do this, I guess. Imagine having to switch to a tabula. Okay. These encounters are actually going to happen a few times. This has been annoying. You will hit some dead ends. Maybe I can just kill them with this. I cannot. Okay, yeah, that works. I'll just do this. Yeah, take a bit of time, but whatever. But yeah, like I was saying, in Duresso's dream, you will hit a few dead ends. They're kind of inevitable. if you like aren't super used to running the layout in itself. Personally, I haven't run that layout that many times, but for the most part, as you can see, it's pretty linear. Like it's not really going to be too much of an issue, but you can run into dead ends. I'll let you guys see what I mean by that after we're done with this little encounter here. It's really annoying having to use charge dash, but there's not much else I can do here. Oh, all right. So, for example, this was a dead end here. There's no real reason why I didn't actually go there, or like for example there, except the fact that basically when it comes to Dureso's Dream, how I go about it is pretty simple. I'll go forward until I hit a wall, and then I'll either take left or right, but I'll give normally the advantage toward the opposite side of where the entrance was, right? So for example, the entrance was here on my map. So I went all the way forward. I hit a wall. So then I went on one side because I only had one option. Then I went all the way forward and I hit another wall, right? So at that point I got two choices. Do I go left or right? Well, like I said, I'm always going to give priority to the opposite side of where the entrance of my map is. So my map entrance was here. So if I went back towards here, it means I'm kind of going back towards the map entrance, and I tend to avoid that. Layouts in Path of Exile seem to be almost always basically across the map, across the entire map. So as you can see here, I went right I went right. Then I hit a wall, just took whatever path I could, all the way forward until I hit another wall, then all the way until I hit another wall, and that was, the end of the zone. So that's mostly how I'll run Dureso's Dream and like pretty much every other layout in the game. So when it comes to the Grand Arena, when you reach the waypoint, I recommend going back to the Crystal Veins and doing the entirety of Kaom's Dream before finishing Dureso's Dream because um, Dureso is actually quite a bit more dangerous than Koam's, and because of the monster level of the zone in the Grand Arena versus the sorry, where is it again? In the Grand Arena compared to the Dureso's Dream, and same thing with the Stronghold and Kaom's Dream. But at that point, you've ran Dureso's Dream and Kaom's Dream, so you can just go ahead and run Kaom's Stronghold and finishing it off with the Grand Arena. So Kaom's Dream, a little bit of an annoying one, but for the most part, you'll want to aim for these little bridges or ledges, and those will be what will lead you to the end of the map for the most part. There are little tips and tricks that I can give you guys when it comes to running these layout. So certain movement skills will be able to do certain things that other movement skills won't be able to. So for example, here I can see that there's actually a ledge here, right? But even with like say blink arrow, I would not be able to actually make that jump. It's a little bit too far, but there are some places where actually certain movement skills will be able to go like way past some distances that you wouldn't quite, think so. For example, this ledge right here, from here to here, I can actually do it with charge dash. I don't think something like flame dash can, but I'm not sure. I know blink arrow can for a fact. Then there are some other ones as well. These are kind of jumps, if you want to call them that, are available especially in Kaom's Dream. So that's another one, a little ledge that you can actually just skip right over instead of having to take this bridge if you happen to hug this wall instead of that one. Then there is one more, I believe. But for the most part, like, just make sure to, remember that you have movement skills, movement abilities, and they have quite a big range when it comes to moving. Like, all of these, I know that I can't actually do it with charge dash because it's not just going to dash through a wall. But certain other ability skills may be able to go over some of them. I don't remember exactly like where they are though, because I typically don't really take advantage of those, even if I probably should, to be honest. But I know for a fact some of these ledges you can actually jump over with certain movement skills, but I'm pretty sure it's actually only blink arrow that can do it. Yeah, like this one here, you could actually just go ahead and jump that with the blink arrow. I'm like 99.9% sure. Don't quote me on it though, but you know, do some testing and don't be scared to just hug a wall and try to blink arrow over it. Uh, so, anyways, afterwards you'll go ahead and kill Kaoms. I'm not sure if we can even kill him. Yeah, that would take forever. Not gonna deal with that. So you go ahead and kill Kaoms and simply log out, and then we'd head over for the Grand Arena. The Grand Arena basically has a, whenever you get to the waypoint, it has upper side and lower side, right? You always want to go down. It's always going to be the right way. And while the upper side leads to a dead end. Same here, just go down. It's going to lead to the right place. And this one, just follow on the path. This leads to the arena. You actually have to kill these like unique monsters, if you want to call them that, to be able to access the fight with Duresso. So you just go ahead and kill them, and then you could kill Duresso. After killing Duresso, simply log out after getting the quest item. From there, you can head back to the Crystal Veins and talk to Lady Delia, which would be sitting here, and you'll be able to access the Belly of the Beast, which is one of the most hated zone in the game. For real, the layouts here are not great. But for the most part, I found that it's kind of, I'm not really sure how to explain it, but like I said earlier, try to go basically to the opposite side of the entrance. So I'll go ahead and run it. Not sure how it's going to go, because, you know, I could be completely wrong on the layout, but I could also be, you know, completely right. For the most part, we'll just go ahead and run it. Head over, always. Okay, so as you can see, the strategy of always heading basically to the opposite side of the entrance, even in a straight line, tends to be like true for almost every single layout, which is kind of weird, honestly. A little bit weird. There are some dead ends, as you can see. This is a dead end. This is a dead end. But for the most part, it's actually like kind of linear. It's not that bad, uh, despite the fact that there are dead ends. But like this one and this one, I honestly knew better. I don't know why I went ahead and looked into them. I knew it wasn't going to go there. Uh, so we'll go ahead and run Belly of the Beast level 2, which follows pretty much the same rule. For the most part, you want to head over to the opposite side of the entrance. There will be dead ends, like this one here. I might run into another one as well. But nope, wasn't too hard, was it? So, like I said, basically like this is your entrance, so you want to head over basically to like the opposite side. So if I was to take the opposite side of this right here, of my entrance right there, it'd be around here, right? So like in a straight line-ish. And as you can see, it wasn't exactly there. It was a little bit lower, but still, like there wasn't that many dead ends. It wasn't that long to actually run the zone. So then you'd go ahead and take care of Piety. I'm not going to do that because it would take forever. I totally forgot I kind of respec the build and it doesn't do a whole lot. But we'll head over to the Harvest, which is where you would be after, you know, killing Piety. You'd basically be coming in from here. And right after killing Piety, you'd be heading in from here into the Harvest. So the Harvest is fairly simple. First off, you'll want to get the waypoint. Then you'll want to head upwards. Why upwards? Because the spawns of which bosses where is not necessarily always the same, but you always have one boss in this exact area. Then you can simply log out because it's just quicker that way, and head back to the portal, or sorry, to the waypoint of the Harvest, and then we'll go ahead and run the rest of the zone, which will be here. You will always have a boss. It's a static layout. It's not always going to be Malagaro. Like I said, the boss are going to differ. But the layout is going to be the same. And finally, you'll have the last one right about here. And then you can either log out if you have a really fast loading time, or you know, you can just go ahead and actually run back to the waypoint. Because it's not always going to be exactly here. It could be like somewhere here where logging out could be argued to be faster, but it's whatever. Then you'll have access, after killing all these, to the Black Core, which will lead you to Malachai. And, once you've killed Malachai, you're basically done with Act 4 already. You'll have access to the Ascent, which is right here. Don't forget to talk to Delia. Diala will have some quest rewards for you. Things like Phase Run, which is really, really nice to have, which is what's making me so damn fast on this character for the most part. She also has golems and stuff like that. So talk to her for your quest reward. The Ascent, for the most part, I would just follow a straight line until I hit a wall, and then follow along the wall on the left side until I see the bridge. Then once again, just go forward until I hit a wall, and then down until I see this little ledge up here, and this leads me directly to the Act 5. So once again, I'll go over this layout again. Whenever you come in the layout, just head straight forward until there's a ledge. Cross that ledge with whatever movement skill you have. Then keep heading forward, but try to aim a little bit on the left side. It's always on the left side of the little bridge. Until you see like a wall, then follow along the wall to the left until you see the bridge. After crossing the bridge, just head straight over until you hit a wall and follow that wall until you see the little ledge. And after the ledge, you can just go straight to Act 5. Obviously, there's a more, there's a better way to run that. Instead of actually hitting the walls, you could just go, pretty much in a diagonal line, upper left side, and from the entrance, and that will lead you basically to like the actual place you have to go. As you can see, it's basically a diagonal line upwards to the left. And that will lead you to the Oriath portal, which will bring you to the slave pens, and you are now officially in Act 5, which we will actually go over when we get to the next video, which will be part 5. So hopefully you enjoyed, hopefully you learned a little something. Act 4, for the most part, is a very, very quick act. It's a little bit longer because you're doing normal lab whenever you come here. But for the most part, running this act is very, very short. There's not a whole lot of content. You get through the Aqueduct in like 2 minutes. You'll get to Vol in like a minute 30. Then you'll do the mines in the mines level 2 in a few minutes. At most, honestly, like maybe a minute 30 per layout. Then each side of Dureso's Dream and Koam's Dream will take a couple minutes. And the Belly of the Beast, like I said, if you follow the little guidelines I gave you when it comes to the layouts, will take, a couple minutes each. So you're looking at an act that will take, actually under 20 minutes without counting the normal lab. So it's a very, very quick act. Act 4 is super fast. So like I said, we'll cover Act 5 in the next video. So hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you learned a little something. And that's going to be Matthew signing out. Until the next one. Peace.